I know what you're thinking. Alexander, you idiot, why are you reviewing a 10-year-old movie that nobody talks about anymore? Well, trust me, there's a solid explanation for that, and I'll get there at the end of this. Just bear with me for the next however many minutes. Iron Man. So Iron Man not only kicked off the MCU, but was the very first objectively good superhero film that we had on the turn of the century. A good movie that also revolves around a superhero. The very first parts of Iron Man do a very good job of setting up Tony Stark to be this absolute scumbag. You know, he's a womanizer. He doesn't even care that the weapons he's developing at Stark Enterprises are just being used to kill civilians over in whatever stand. I'm having a hard time remembering. But he's told that he's being called the Merchant of Death, and he's like, I like that nickname. So right off the bat, we know we're not supposed to like Tony Stark. At least not yet. Everything changes, though, because he goes to this country to test a new weapon that he's developing called the Jericho missile. And along the way, one of them goes off right in front of him, gets shrapnel lodged in his chest. Oh, I should have mentioned that this is going to be a spoiler review because the movie's so old. Then they stick him in a cave hooked up to a car battery that's plugged into a magnet that's keeping the shrapnel from entering his heart. And it's like, hey, you're going to make weapons for us because you're Tony Stark, so that's just what you're going to do. But along the way, he decides to get off this car battery, so he builds himself a little arc reactor that keeps the magnet going, and he builds himself the very first Iron Man suit, which he uses to escape, and he gets some pretty good distance away from the place, and he gets rescued, he gets taken back to America, and he just got a whole new lease on life. First thing he wants to do is shut down the weapons manufacturing part of Stark Industries, at which point his business partner, Obadiah Stane, is like, Tony, no, you can't do that. That's what we do here at Stark. We make weapons. What are you doing? And he's like, sorry, man, weapons are being used to hurt people, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And then he realizes something's still not right. People are still getting hurt with Stark weapons. So he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a new Iron Man suit. I'm going to bust in there and start knocking heads. So that's exactly what he does. Then along the way, it's revealed that Obadiah Stane is actually the bad guy, and he wants Stark weaponry so that he can make his own Iron Man suit and use it to continue, you know, doing the weapons thing. That's the whole thing. The whole thing is he likes the power that he gets from making weapons, and he doesn't want to lose it because Tony's making bad decisions. So if he has to kill him, he'll do it. And then in that you get that whole Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. Everybody loves that line because it's just a really great line. But the reveal where you find out that Obadiah Stane is the bad guy and he reveals that to Tony Stark, that's the greatest thing in the world because he uses this sound frequency that paralyzes him, and then he just takes this little magnet gun and just rips the arc reactor out of his chest. Like, sorry, Tony, I didn't want to have to do this, but hey, I really have no other options, so later. Then, powered by nothing but sheer will, he gets his way down to the basement, he gets his old arc reactor, plops it in his chest, gets in an Iron Man suit, and goes to fight him. And it's interesting because this sets up the Marvel villain mold going forward. Just take the good guy and make him evil, and that's the bad guy of the film. And so it's literally just a mirror match from Street Fighter by the time the final fight comes around. And I don't hold that against Iron Man. It worked for that movie because Obadiah Stane did have organic motives, but from then on it just became lazy and contrived because they did it for almost every MCU film going forward. But then, you know, with Pepper's help, he finally stops Stane. He kills him, unfortunately, you know, the first MCU villain to die. But at the end, he's having this press conference where he reveals that he's Iron Man, despite being told not to by Clark Gregg's character, Phil Coulson, the first time we ever get to see him actually doing something, so that's pretty cool. And then the whole thing ends with Black Sabbath's Iron Man, and it's a great experience. I guess I do have to rate this film now that I'm reviewing it. So overall, you know, it's got killer action that the CGI still holds up a decade later. The storyline is very good. The villain has organic motives. The hero has an actual character arc from start to finish in the movie. Everything works in this movie's favor, and it's why it's still my 4th favorite MCU film to this day. Actually, no, I think it's my 3rd favorite. There's not too much negative to say about it, so let's go ahead and rate this bad boy. Iron Man, the very first Iron Man, is, without a doubt, spectabulous. Now, as far as why I'm reviewing a movie this old at this time when nobody really cares about it, let's get into that. I missed the boat on quite a lot of movies. You know, I just started doing YouTube a little while ago, and I want to shift focus more towards reviews, but don't worry, I'm still going to give you guys video essays. Just not as often. I'm definitely not going to be uploading every single day anymore. That's really exhausting for me. And one thing that I want to do, I want to review some older movies that are still kind of timeless and still have aged very well. So that's what I'm doing. And up until Infinity War Part 2 or whatever they call Avengers 4 comes out, I'm going to be reviewing every MCU film in order from now to Ant-Man and the Wasp, which means I'm going to be re-reviewing both Ant-Man and the Wasp and Avengers Infinity War now that I know what I'm doing on camera and I'm much more comfortable with it.